Hello there YouTube, this is Daniel back at Daniel's Comics channel with another comic book haul of the month of October. It's a bit late in the month of showing you these books, but they are quite a lot of them, and I've fallen behind on some reading recently, but catching back up. So let's just get into it. The first book of the whole is Hulk, issue 11, and I think this is the last issue of this volume. This is like a mission issue, basically. New art and some fourth wall breaking going on. It was quite funny to read, and I think Jen Walters goes on a date that doesn't really go well, but it was kind of funny to read, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the relaunch, with the renumbering, as it changes titles again to She-Hulk this time. Then we have Royal City. I've been enjoying this book, and it's got a extra cover on the back, basically. With a reimagining of a 90s album cover by Jeff Lemire as well. This time we go back in time, basically, to the week leading up to Tommy's death, and seeing what happened in his life and how everyone around him affects him and gets affected by him, I guess. Then we have Batwoman. The first arc was a bit slow, and a couple of issues in between that and this arc has been a bit of a letdown, but it kind of picked up lately. And with this arc, Batwoman is going up against the Scarecrow, and the art really works well for the series. And I hope, really hope that we get to see more of Fernando Blanco's art in this series. Hopefully he's gonna be the main artist from now on, because this really works well, and the story has picked up significantly with this series. Then we have Invincible Iron Man, the relaunch with another volume, basically relaunch to number 593 with the hunt for Tony Stark. He has gone missing now, and artwork is always nice, and you get like a guest appearance by Dr. Doom. And if someone knows, let me know what these are, these Marvel value stamps. I have never seen those before. Maybe that's a legacy thing that they are trying to appeal to older readers that knows what those are. Let me know in the comments. And then we have Alex Maleev on art when Dr. Doom shows up, or Infamous Iron Man as he goes by now. And I found this issue quite interesting, and let's see if I'm right with my prediction from issue 1 that Tony Stark was gonna get back within issue 12 or something like that. It looks like they are going that way, and now that Bendis has left Marvel, not knowing too much of the details behind that, it's going to be interesting to see if they continue with this, or if they who gets to take over his writing in this series. Then we have Extremity, issue 7 out of what looks to be 12 issues. This is taking a bit of a different route now. I think they found a sort of underground, or maybe a sort of community that's been surviving on the bottom of the world, basically, and not on those floating islands. The artwork is really gritty, works well for the series, and it's a really interesting series to follow to see what comes next, basically. Savage Things, issue 8 out of 8. So this concludes the series, and it's been a fun ride, an interesting action-packed ride throughout, and it is kind of closes with possibilities of extensions, basically, which I would like to see. Another miniseries or something like that, exploring some of the world that they have created here, with different Splinter Cells working the same kind of thing going on. So I think this is gonna get a release in a trade paperback later in the year, or maybe early next year. So keep an eye out for that if you're interested in the series, because I highly recommend you. It's a quick read, I guess, but it's interesting and action-packed. Then we have Hawkeye, issue 11. This is a series that's not getting a renumbering at Marvel, so they are sticking to the original renumbering with this series. But it's I like the artwork, I like the quirkiness of the character, so I'm sticking to it. And this is Kate going up against cloned Kate, basically, Madame Mask as an imposter, basically. So it's an interesting. It ended with an open ending, basically, but it's it's fun to read. Then we have Batman, issue 32, with the end of the war of jokes and riddles. As I have been saying before, this is a story arc that's been way too long, but now that it's over, it's an okay arc. It didn't end the way I thought it was gonna end, but kinda works with the mythos and stuff. So I have always enjoyed the artwork, but some of the story is not what I want for this title. But then that's okay. It works for some other people, and that's okay. And then we have Batman 33 with art by Joel Jones, which works really well, surprisingly well for this series. And I've always enjoyed Joel Jones' art. And throughout this issue, we have Cat and the Bat going to find someone to a forbidden city, and the Justice League gets notified. Then we have a new miniseries from Marvel Max imprint, and I thought this was interesting when I saw the creators involved, Garth Ennis back with the Punisher, and Goran Parlov on art. I always enjoy his art, and this story explores his first command in the Vietnam War, and how that might have affected him in the present or in the Marvel Universe. And they relaunched this miniseries. It's gonna be 6 issues with 2 issues this month. So this continues that story, and I have enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to the next issue. And then we have Grass Kings by Boom Studios, by Matt Kint and Tyler Jenkins, number 8 in the series. I hear it's gonna be 18 or planned 18 issues. Hopefully we're gonna get those. And this issue we have the brothers asking around, continuing to asking around, and asking Mr. Pike about his relationship with a teacher that went missing or got killed in the community earlier. And he kind of flashes back to his youth and how he ended up at the community of Grass Kingdom. It's an interesting issue. Felt like a filler issue, but all the time, in the same time, you got to know more of a character, which I found good. And then we have Briggs Land, Lone Wolves, issue 5 out of 6. So this is closing to the end of the mini-series. We have art by a new artist this time, by Werther Del Edra. And the artworks, you kind of understand who each character is. You get some backstory to this character. I can't remember his name now, but it's gonna be interesting to see what the conclusion of this series is gonna be, and how it's gonna continue from there. Then we have Sherlock, Frankenstein, and the Legion of Evil. It's gonna be a miniseries of 4 issues, and art by David Rubin, and script by Jeff Lemire. As you can see, I'm a Lemire fan, so it's gonna be interesting to see what this is gonna be, but I'm not sure what the focus is gonna be in this series, but I'm sure it's gonna be fine. And then we have Kill or Be Killed number 13, and with this issue we kind of go full circle, and but then again we jump back again to some of the events leading up to the event in the hallway, as we got to see them in the first issue and the last couple of issues here with the flashbacks and stuff. And yeah, I just can't wait to get to read each issue as it comes out this month. And I'm really just a big fan of the series. But I'm a big fan of Ed Brubaker and his independent work, and the art by Sean Phillips is just phenomenal. And then we have Mr. Miracle, issue 3 out of 12. It continues in the same vein as before, and Big Barda and Mr. Miracle gets basically shore leave or got some vacation, and there are talks of a mutiny and by the Bug and the Bug people, which I don't know much about, but I'm liking the series, and I like the art, and I like the 9-paneling gridding and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm happy with the series so far. And then we have Slots number 1. I think it's gonna be a miniseries of 5 or 6 issues. It's by Dan Panosian. It looks like a wheelman or hitman or stuntman, something like that. He's gonna settle a score in Las Vegas. He's not welcome. The art looks really great, works really well, as you can see with the splash page of him entering Las Vegas. And this was a gift from a friend of mine who thought I might enjoy it, and he was right. Thank you, Matthias. And I am definitely gonna keep a lookout for this in trade paperback later. And then we have The Flash, issue 32 and 33. This is a one-shot, basically. It's good to see The Flash and Kid Flash working together again, even though it's kind of straining on their relationship. And you get to see his new workplace, Iron Heights. And it's gonna be interesting to see what this leads to and why he is there, because I get the feeling that he is there to do something that's not being told to us as of yet. And then we have this one, Flash number 33, tie into the metal event. As I'm not reading the metal event, this kind of felt really disjointed. I didn't get much of it, but I still read through it and enjoyed it somewhat for what it was. And the art by Mr. Porter is always good for the Flash. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting to read the full event later on when it's released in trade paperback or hardcover or whatever it is it's gonna be released as. And then we have The Defenders, part 1, issue 6, part 1 of the Kingpins of New York. And then we have him, this diamond, juicing up, basically taking some sort of drug to get powerful. And we have some big fight scenes and stuff like that. It's funny, it's good, well written, I enjoy it. I want to know more. And it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with this now that Bendis is about to leave Marvel. Here's a book that I'm not enjoying as much lately. This is the next to final issue I'm picking up. Trinity, issue 14, written by Robert Williams, I think it is, Rob Williams, and art by Marion. Who that is, I'm not sure. But yeah, this arc has been a letdown. I'm not into the series anymore. And yeah, I'm just waiting for issue 15 so I can finally drop the series. And here is Dark Arc issue 1, another gift from a friend of mine, Matthias. He bought them, read them, and thought I might enjoy them. And yeah, this was kind of interesting. I'm thinking I'm gonna keep to reading this in a trade paperback. It's for Aftershock Comics, and the art is good and the story is very interesting. I don't know another word for it, but I kind of like this mythological beasts other type arc. And then we have Batman Detective Comics issue 966 and 967. It continues with this Lonely Place of Living arc when Tim Drake has taken up the mantle of Batman in the future and is not happy about it. And he is going out for vengeance, I think. Or I'm not sure what he's aiming for to do. It's really interesting. I like the artwork by Barrows, Martinez, I guess. Barrows and Martinez, they kind of look the same. Works as a complementary team, or they complement each other. And then we have Batman White Knight issue 1 out of 8, I think it's gonna be. I really enjoyed this. Once I heard this was gonna get released earlier in the year, I marked my calendar basically to keep an eye out for it, and when it arrived I was not disappointed. This is mainly a buy for the artwork alone, but the story is really intriguing, and it's gonna be interesting to see what Sean Murphy does with this series. And then we have Exo Manowar Emperor Arc issue 8 with art by Clayton Crane, and this digitally painted artwork really works well. It's a good follow-up to other artists involved, and this basically is the eve before battle. Arik is doing the rounds in the camp outside the Emperor's palace, and yeah, I don't want to spoil anything for you guys, but if you are hesitating on buying this series, get the trades and give it a try. I surely think many of you who are sci-fi fans and action fans are gonna like this series. And the last issue of the whole, Bloodshot Salvation number 2. This is awesome. Jeff Lemire again, with art by Luis La Rosa and Miku Sayan. And yeah, these artists really complete or complement each other with different art styles for the present and the future. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they tie these two arcs, parallel arcs that we get to read, how they are gonna tie together as the series go along. And it's interesting to see these tiny pieces of information kind of stack up and see what we can learn from it as we go along. I'm hooked. After just 2 issues, I'm just hooked to this series. So that's it. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions about these books, let me know in the comment section. Until next time, have a great week of reading and see you around. Bye bye.